Kilo Kids, Shayna Alberson, Kilo Coach, back with you today. Today we're talking about mobility for a deeper squat. So what I have for you is what I call a lunge complex. It's just a series of 5 different positions. We're gonna hold each position for about 30 seconds. So once you've done all 5, you will have spent 2.5 minutes in each position, both sides, that's 5 minutes total, to get yourself a deeper squat. Okay, so when we train, when we squat, range of motion is really important, right? We wanna make sure that we're strong from the starting point to end range and back to the starting point. So in a squat, I wanna have, at the bottom of the squat, my hip crease all the way below my knees and my heels firmly on the ground. Now, I get a lot of emails, people saying, how can I get deeper in the squat? My hips are tight, my heels won't stay down, my ankles are tight. What I want you guys to do is do it before, after. So do the lunge complex on one side, stand up, test out your squat, and see, does one hip feel better than the other at the bottom of your squat? That is your evidence that what you're doing is working, and so you can keep doing it. First position, this is just pretty much a straight up lunge, but there's a couple of details that I want you guys to make sure you're adhering to when you're in this lunge. So first thing, it's a nice long low lunge, and what I mean by that is this shin is vertical, this knee, the back knee, is just a little bit behind my front hip. So get a little stretch in the hip flexor here. This foot is gonna stay flat, and I pretty much have a hip width distance between my legs. So first things first, I'm gonna put my hands on the floor, just right inside this foot. So making sure that I almost wanna grip the floor with my toes here, and think of taking this back hip and turning it down towards the mat a little bit. Having something squishy to have your knees on is gonna help here, because then you won't have to worry about the pressure on your joints. We're just gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds. Right out of the first position, second position, I'm essentially just taking this a little bit deeper. So I want to take my back knee and slide it back just an inch or two, and I'm gonna see, can I get an elbow to the ground? This is ideal. If you can get 2, even better. If you can't quite get that, you can kind of lean out to the side a little bit. Just get as low as you can, but we're just going deeper than what the first position was. Out of our second position, we're gonna go into the third position. This is pigeon. So I'm gonna take my foot, move it over so that it's in front of this back hip. Now this is where I can let my knee flop out to the side. So I wanna lay my shin down flat on the ground. If I can get it parallel to my hips, that's ideal. If you need to have this bent a little bit more, you can, but parallel is what I'm looking for. If you can slide that back knee back a little more, that's great. You can mobilize here too. So if you want to contract, relax by kind of pushing your knee into the mat and then holding it for a second and seeing if you can go a little bit deeper. If you want to surrender, chest over, kind of lay your chest down. I like to see if I can get my head to the floor. If you're not there yet, no big deal. Some people might even need to bend this back knee and sit over this way. This might be a little more tolerable, but the idea is that this is scalable, right? You don't have to be to get in that noodly position for this to be effective. But what I want to do is really work into kind of the back of this hip joint here. From this pigeon position, all I'm gonna do is take this back knee and slide it back. So I'm gonna go essentially on all 4s here, but this leg is in external rotation. So once I find my balance in all 4s, I'm just gonna lean into that bent hip. So your visual here is like you're trying to drive your thigh bone out your butt cheek. If you don't feel a stretch here, go a little lower, lean a little further, sit into it, stretch up. The idea is keep kind of shifting around until you find a little tight corner, and that's where you want to hang out. Up to this point, we've been working external external rotation of the hip. So for our fifth position, we're going to touch on internal rotation. So you're going to release the externally rotated leg here. You're going to internally rotate it, so take that foot and kick it to the outside of your hip, and then you're just going to sit back. One leg is 45 degrees in front, this leg is 45 degrees, but my foot is bent behind me. I can move around. Again, I want to look for the tight corners, the positions that I feel tight, and that's what I want to lean into to really give me the best stretch. If you don't feel anything, you need to move around and find something tight. So now we've mobilized that one hip. Go back and test your squat, right? Get your feet into position, sit all the way down deep, and see, does one side feel better than the other? Because if it does, you've made some changes, you've made a difference. That means it's working for you. It's something that you can keep